Hmm. Well, let's try this, shall we? I was requested to use Nekroz, and I know Nekroz is very good. It's the best deck of the format, really, because it's been topping so much and winning a lot of events. But I decided to just not want to learn how it works. I faced it a couple of times, therefore know quite a bit about it, but using it myself and really finding the combos, I don't know. This is my second duel ever. Using Nekroz. So, yeah, you're gonna see the deck profile as well, and I'll go into a bit of why I went with certain choices. Partially because I felt it would be good based on my experiences in duels, and partially because of just a few lists that I was looking at, like from recent events. Because I sometimes do base my decks on that, use that as a base, and then test, and then go from there, and then change the decks a little bit. So I went with my own ideas, my own experiences, and some of the lists, but we'll see that in the deck profile. Alright, we have a Brian deck, we have a Searcher. I don't remember what this does. Get a Nekroz card back. Negate effects. Cycle is the one that tributes from hand or field. Oh, Cycle can summon from the graveyard. Kaleidoscope sends from extra deck. And Cycle can banish from grave. No, not Cycle, Mirror. Nekroz spells would be like, use this, do that. I don't know what to play. I seriously don't. I have a Cycle. I kind of want to sure it. And I know Valkyrus has been proven. Like, to me, last tournament I played Yosenju, and Valkyrus was just so annoying against that. Brian, I can add a monster. This thing can add anything. I think I'll just go with Shurit and I don't know. I want Valkyrus, that's for sure. So I'll discard Bryanak and take Valkyrus. Nekroz players just don't. If you're in the comments, you're like, "Yo, you made a misplay." Say it in a nice way, because I know I'm bound to make misplays. Make not so smart choices, because this is only the second time I've ever actually used Nekroz. It's one thing to know how to face it, which I've sort of learned throughout the duels against them, but it's another thing to actually know how to use it yourself. And I don't have a clue. I guess I could use Manju to take Kaleidoscope to actually summon both Unicorn and Valkyrus. But would I do that? Then if he has Raigeki, he just takes him out. So I could take Manju. And I can only keep Valkyrus though, I also want to summon him. I'm going to summon Manju. Use its effect. Take Kaleidoscope so I can summon him next and just leave Manju there. And then just play on from whatever he's playing. I remember quite some time ago, maybe even a year ago, I did an Infernity deck profile. And Infernities are another deck that I just didn't know how to play. I knew sort of how they play, but I didn't know the combos myself, so I felt I didn't really know what I was doing. So I did get quite a lot of help with that from other people building that deck, and I'm pretty sure I never used it besides in that one deck request duel. I wonder how this is going to be. Nekroz, maybe I'll use it more often depending on how they'll get hit or not in the next list, whenever that's released, because we don't have confirmation when that will be. We don't have confirmation when the current format will end. We have reinforcements. That can get me Bullblader. That can get me Clausolus, from which I have one copy. And I have one more warrior. Something else. I have cycles. If I take reinforcements, get Clausolus, use it to search for something. I can then later use Cycle once I have Jin to get Clausolus back in Jin log. I don't see why not. Where is Clausolus and... Oh yeah, it's Shurit. Discard you, and I guess I'll just take Mirror, just to have one of all. Just add the spells, right? Yeah. It says Nekroz Spell Trap. Pretty sure there's no Nekroz Trap yet, so who knows what support they'll get later. What would a Nekroz Trap do? Huh. Vanishes on the grave to summon from hand. I'll just take that to have one of each and then play on from there. I want to go all out. I'd really love to just have my Royal Decree or Nenkoseka, but they're both side deck. Maybe I should main deck them. I do have 3 MSD. I can Kaleidoscope, Unicorn, Valk, and then have Unicorn and Manju overlay because they're both level 4. Go into something fancy. If they're playing Burning Abyss or Shadow, I can always go into Starlight thingy. Zubaba General is an interesting thing I put in. I'll expand in the deck profile why. So I don't really see why. I'm just gonna go all out and just attack, and then hope things work. And otherwise, I can probably do something fancy with Cycle. Right, Kaleidoscope, go. To the grave. Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. A lot of people use Quasar. I use Ultimate Dragon. You can use Barbaroid or any other level 12 that's in the extra deck, really. I summon Nekroz of Valkyrus and Unicorn. Please don't have Bottomless or Torrential. Mirror Force, because Mirror Force is darn good against Nekroz. Let's see what they're playing. I don't know. Nitrosynchron? Okay. Want to attack? Why did they not use that before? Okay. What a save they're a monster. Maybe they don't realize it. I can draw cards. I don't want to. If he has Nitrosynchron, he probably has Synchros, which means I kind of want to keep Unicorn to stop effects. Do I want to keep Manju on the field? Do I want to overlay into something though? Lavalval Chain to get... I could use Lavalval Chain, send Jin, so that I can use... Wait. I already have Clausolus in the grave. I can't... If I could combine Mirror and Cycle, that'd be good, but no. I'm gonna keep it like this. Watch people comment how I misplayed again, because I really don't like it. Maybe it probably is, depending on the situation, and certain things, preferences, like if you want to play offensively or defensively. Junk Synchron. Okay. Go ahead. What new face down will they have placed that would want them to have their field like that? Now I kinda want to overlay just to get rid of it. Or is it a bluff? It's a really daring bluff though, because Junk Synchron is pretty darn good in Synchro decks. I can't use Mirror, I can use Cycle. Hand or field to summon a monster from hand or grave. Right, yeah, but I don't have anything proper to tribute. So in that sense, I kind of need Shurit. I'm just gonna keep attacking. Just go all out in the offense and see from there. I'm first gonna take out Nitrosynchron. Taking risks here. Hope that's now the Mirror Force. What'll happen? What'll happen? Hello? Okay, negate attack, that works. Tribute and end. That'll be good. Alright, summon something with extra defense to then just stop it with negate attack. Got Senju. Senju searches for a ritual monster. I can search for Bryo, which can then search for Shurit. Shurit can then be tributed with Cycle to summon something else, like Bryo. But I kinda don't want to do that, because I want to just save it. But I can summon Senju and then have him Xyz into something. Senju and Monju. Into... Emerald? I don't really know what to shuffle back though. No, just going to attack. Senju, go. No, not Trishula. Bryo. You attack Nitrosynchron. You attack Junk Synchron. You attack directly. And so does Nekroz Valkyrus. Xyz, I don't really know what into the thing. I kind of want to something that can defend itself, but I don't have Maestro Core 101 in this. I suppose I could replace General with one of them, because I barely ever use that thing. Although, it would be fun to just use General next turn, really. Because I have Bryo. Although, really, it is there to use with Trishula, but I only have one Trish. Would be fun for next turn. That is certainly interesting. They want to take Valkyros until the end phase. Okay. Well, if Valkyros contribute itself, I'll probably go and do that. Well, I'll allow you to take Nekroz down. You gonna tribute it? I kind of think this person is new to both the deck and to Nekroz. Because I would have attributed it to get a card and not give the Valkyros back. That's a suggestion. Like, I'm not trying to bash on him for not being a good player, because everyone starts out not knowing every card. But what does help, even if you don't know a deck, is reading the opponent's cards and realizing what they do. In one sense, you could use them to your advantage, like my opponent would in this case be able to do with enemy controller and Valkyros. But also, you won't be as surprised, or surprised at all, if the opponent does something you're like, what the hell are you doing? Because you've read the card. That way you know what to expect. Maybe you're going to change your game plan because you know that Valkyros, they have a Valkyros in their hand and Valkyros can negate attacks. So you kind of want to change your game plan, knowing that that is a possibility. And right now I really just want to overlay these two and go Subaba General. So I'm going to go do that. It's not going to give me that much extra stuff, and Bryo could really serve for something better, but I want to do it at this point. $43. Subaba General! Direct attack! Come on! I'm gonna stare at the camera forever. What is Subaba so distraction thingy, whatever it's called in the manga, if it even has a name. Damn it! Damn it. You know, I'm gonna pay the cost now. You're annoying. What use? Well, maybe I'll have next turn. Nee. I'll just take that as he would have ended his turn, and then Subaba General would have finished him off. Yay for Subaba General! Time to go into deck profile. See you in a bit. Previously on Yu-Gi-Oh! I want to duel with Nekroz. Now on Yu-Gi-Oh! You're gonna see the deck profile of the Nekroz deck that I was requested to use by I'm a Nice Troll. In a way, I like that username, in a way I don't, but anyway, we're not here to discuss that. We're going to the deck profile, and I'll explain my choices as we go along. As I did say in the duel already, some were things that I felt were good from my own experience. Others, because I looked at deck lists, and this went with that. It was something I saw often, or saw in a deck list, and I'm like, oh, that could really work. Yeah. I also have a few extra ideas that aren't in this deck, but have a few ideas of what could be in this deck. But I'll talk about that in a bit. Bull Blader, just that one. In a recent events, some decks have been playing Bull Blader just to get over big monsters. I never considered this card to be really great, so I was surprised to see it. But if the opponent has a strong monster you just have to get rid of, and you don't have something like Dimensional Prison, Mirror Force, Torrential Tribute, or anything like that to do it, Bull Blader can do it. And with reinforcements of the army, you can have Bull Blader take him out. I have one Jin Releaser of Rituals, because Jinlock. 3 Manju, which are really a staple in Nekroz, can search for the spells and for the rituals. send you to search for some more rituals to extra search for Bryanak and Clazolis, because then they can then search for the monsters and the spells anyway. 2 Bryo because it can search for any Nekroz monster, which is really good. Clazolis at 1 because it's nice to have a searcher for the spells, and also because Jinlock. I suppose if you, let's say, have Clazolis and Manju in the grave, and no, let's say Jin and Manju in the grave, and then you use, what is it, Mirror to summon to summon Gungnir, then Gungnir could be the lock. It's possible, but generally you do it with Clazolis because it's easiest. I have 1 copy of Nekroz with Decisive Armor. This is definitely not seen in all that many decks. I had one in there. I've had it for a while in my Nekroz deck. Not that I've used it much. As I said, this was only my second duel with it. I have it in here to overcome the Apocryphoth monsters, the boss monsters of Cliffords. They're not seen that often though when you're playing as Clifford. And for whatever reason, I've barely seen any Clifford recently. Could just be me. Could just be how things have played out. Clifford maybe just have a bad matchup against Nekroz. We will expect Nekroz therefore not play Clifford. I don't know. Not seeing it much. So probably Decisive Armor would be the 1 card I'd cut if I want to replace it with something. And I do have some ideas of what I'd want to replace it by. We'll get to that in a bit. I do have 1 copy of Nekroz of Gungnir. Another card I could take out. I'll say that for a couple of other cards as well, maybe, because I don't really know how to play Nekroz. So once again, sorry. But you can discard a card to get a card on the field and destroy it. If it's on the field. And if you have a monster that is about to be destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can discard Gungnir from your hand to save that monster for 1 turn. And that could work. Trishula, some people have it at 1, some people have it at 2. I don't see myself summoning it that much, so I do have it at 1, even though its effect is pretty good. I feel 1 is good. But as I said, maybe 2, but 1, yeah. Unicorn, quite easy to summon, especially considering you have Bullblader, 3 Manju, 3 Senju. It is really easy to bring out Nekroz of Unicorn. And generally, you'd use like 1 Blow's Ultimate or Shooting Quasar or something like that in your extra deck, and then you can summon Valkyrus and Unicorn together. Valkyrus. In the DNYs, yes, in DNYs Dubai, I faced Nekroz twice. Once lost to it, once won. The once won was top 16. Valkyrus, I was playing Yosenju. Valkyrus was just like, let me get my attacks in. So against Yosenju, Valkyrus is great. So I wanted to have it at 3. I saw a couple of lists run it at 3, a couple at 2. So I just sort of went with some other options of some other lists that I saw and went for it at 2. You tell me if you prefer it at 2 or 3. I've seen various things, so really it's a 2 or 3 thing. Sure it. Have it at 1. Because last list I checked had it at 1. But a lot of people do run it at 2. It's also a 1 or 2 thing, I feel, just like with Trish. Because sure, it can be banished with Mirror or tributed for anything else, attributed for all of them, and allow any of them to be summoned. So really I feel that could be more, and you can also have it search for things. So thinking about it now, sure, it could be a 2. But yeah, I don't play Nekroz lots, I don't know. Book of Moon, Book of Eclipse. Both ways to get out of the Jin lock or any other lock that would be similar. Really, it's Jin lock mostly, but it can also just stop some attacks, flip something in defense position to easily overcome it. That's about it, really. MSD to get rid of some set cards, because those really do get in the way, because Nekroz can push really hard. But if they have set cards that can stop you, I'm sorry. Nekroz Cycle, Nekroz Kaleidoscope, Nekroz Mirror. I've noticed that almost any deck list of Nekroz that tops has all of them at 2. A few have one of them at 3, maybe one at 1. I faced one of those ones before in a tournament, I believe like a DN Live or something. I was surprised by that, but a lot of people do run it at 2, so I was like, that's probably just the way to go, so I just threw in really to all of them, because That's generally the best, probably. Preparation of rites can get you a level 7 or a ritual monster, which is nice, and then a ritual spell, would there be one in the graveyard. And Bryo can, you can add Bryo and then search for any monster you want. So let's say you really want Valkyris or Trishula, you can then use this to search for Bryo and Bryo to search for that. Another thing that I forgot that the Nekroz spells do is if you have no monsters on the field, you can banish that same spell alongside one other Nekroz card from your grave, and search for any Nekroz spell and add it from your deck to your hand, which can be very nice. You can get just what you want. So in that sense, if there is a ritual spell of Nekroz in the grave, which there will quite often be, clearing their field with something like Mirror Force may not be the thing you want. Let's say they have Nekroz, a Unicorn, and a Manju on the field, and you have the option to take them both out. Let's say with Yosenju, like comma 1's effect for Unicorn, and then attack, attack, attack. You may actually want to keep one of them on the field, just because you know that they could afterwards, with an empty field, use one of these things, and then summon the Valkyris they have in their hand, or the Trishula, which is really bad. Especially if Trishula banishes from your hand one of the Yosenjus that you really want to keep. That's just my experiences with Yosenju against Nekroz. Raigeki because destroy, why not? Reinforcements of the army can search for Bull Blader, can search for Clausolus, can search for Shurit. Torrential Tribute, nice in destruction, and something I saw in one of the lists, Solemn Scolding. Because I do feel, as I said in the video as well, and just now with the MFT, this deck can push really hard, but it needs to be able to defend itself to at least to a good extent from Mirror Force and some other traps. Especially Mirror Force, I feel, is a really strong card against Nekroz. Solemn Scolding can stop that. Very often it'll be the only card you have set on the field, because the only other things you normally set are Torrential, another Scolding, and MST. But in that sense, you just use MST to get rid of something, or just don't set it. And you'd not set 2 Solemn Scoldings, because then they wouldn't work. But this could really be used as a defense. Like Denko Seka could as well, and Royal Decree. But Scolding can be used for some other negations as well. So, you could say what you'd like. I was trying out Scolding, haven't actually drawn into it yet. But, try it out. Extra deck, I have a Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. You just need a level 12 that is in the extra deck. If we just go this, level 12, it needs to be a fusion, a sync, or a synchro. You can use any of these things. 6 different monsters to choose from, because these are the same. It doesn't matter which one you use, you can't summon them from the grave anyway. Synchro, you have 3. You could even use the Star Sea for Spark Dragon if you're playing OCG. There's a lot to choose from. But I'm going to keep this on the fusion, because now I'm gonna look at one of those fusions later. Just gonna get rid of this. Yep. Anyway, extra deck. I decided to go with Blue Eyes Ultimate because I've seen a lot of people play Quasar, and I was like, let's play something else. I went with Ultimate. 2 Herald of Arc Light, which can be sent with Kaleidoscope to summon a Unicorn. That's also a reason you'd play 3 Unicorn, because then you can summon it with Arc Light, and then when it's sent to the graveyard, through any means, if it's in the graveyard, you can add a ritual monster or ritual spell from deck to hand. I forgot this during the game. I could have actually done that and got some more options to play with, and then kept Valkyris in my hand like I was talking about at the start of the duel. And then I could have added gotten another ritual monster or spell with Herald. But yeah, that is an amazing card. 1 Star Eater to summon. Let's see, why is Star Eater in there? I put it in there because people put it in there. Valkyris plus Clausolus? Probably not for Unicorn and Gungnir, because Gungnir is not in a lot of decks. I don't think it's for people who play. Maybe it's like someone who plays Phaler, but then no, that's only with This Is of Armor. Must be for Valkyris Clausolus. Almost has to be. I honestly don't know. Rhapsody to get rid of some cards in the opponent's graveyard. You can use it to get rid of Nekroz cards in the opponent's graveyard so that Valkyris doesn't work. You can get rid of the Nekroz spells so that they can't banish themselves in something else to search for something. Get Cowboy to get over some monsters, but mostly just for that extra 800 damage. This Duel should stop things that activate in the graveyard, such as the Nekroz spell, such as Shadows, such as Burning Abyss. The goods to Emerald, generally I don't really like using this card, but I can definitely see the use in this deck, as you can shuffle back Bryanak, you can shuffle back Unicorn, you can shuffle back Valkyries, any monster that you'd want to reuse, and especially the searchers can be very nice, because then you can just search for whatever you want. Lavalval Chain to send something to the graveyard. This could be a general releaser of rituals, so you can use Nekroz Mirror and immediately banish it to, for Clazolis. If you have, let's say, releaser in your hand, you could use Lavalval Chain to send Nekroz and Clazolis to the grave to summon it with Cycle. A few other things you can do as well, but that's a way to go. Also, you can send Shura to the grave and then banish it with Mirror to summon whatever you'd like. Excite Tonight, just because it's major destruction. That's very useful. Zubaba General, put it in there originally to go with Trishula. It does sort of work with Bryanak, because I believe my original deck did have 2 Trishula. I don't feel it's really that great, just some nice attack, but you can generally do that with other cards as well. So this would be one card from the extra deck you would take out. Diamond Direwolf, because it helps destroy stuff, but I barely see myself going into Diamond Dire in any deck. So, Castell, because it can get rid of any face-up cards, really, which is very useful in these days. And then Telernap Ptolemaeus. Often this card is used to go into Cyber Dragon Nova and then into Infinity. However, this is a TCG version of the deck, because as I was just looking at a lot of TCG lists, I thought I'm just going to make this TCG only. Ptolemaeus can be used in Infinity, but Infinity is OCG, so we're not looking at that now. This is really just 2 level 4 monsters, which is generally easy with Bullblader, with Manju, with Senju, with Unicorn. Go into this, and during your main phase, still go into use Satel Knight's Constellar Diamonds effect, sort of, it's like summon condition, to place it on top of Ptolemaeus, and then you'd have sort of a counter to Shadow and Burning Abyss, and especially Burning Abyss are really good. Alright, in the extra deck, this is actually a serious extra deck. I have Denko and Royal Decree to stop opponent's set cards from interfering with the pushes that you can really do with your Nekroz. 1 Fairy Wind for Nekroz, 1 Vanities, because Vanities can be really good. 2 Breakthrough Skills if there's opponent's cards that you really want to negate. Mistake to stop searching. Nekroz does have a lot of searching itself as well, but I guess you just activate this after you've done your searching, have a really big field, you'd flip your Mistake, and then maybe you'd have something else as well. You could, I suppose, play it alongside Solemn Scolding, actually, and flip up Mistake first, and then when they try to make a big push, without their search, but they still make a big push and can just Scolding and stop them. Who knows? And then 2 Firehand and 3 Ice Hand, because I saw that in the one of the lists that I was looking at, and Fire and Ice and can really work out. Now, there's a few other options that I would like to look at. This is, by the way, an old version of my first deck, where I did use 2 Eclipse and a Dance Princess, and was still when Bryanak was at 3. Anyway, a DD Warrior Lady I've seen in like 1 or 2 decks, I think. I've seen Bullblader in more, and I feel that Bullblader is more useful. But I suppose DD Warrior Lady can be set, and then the opponent doesn't know that it is DD Warrior Lady, and then attacks into it, and you can banish them both. Bullblader, you have to play in attack position if you want the opponent to attack into it, and then they just don't. So they actually don't get rid of their own card. So that's, I suppose, an advantage that Warrior Lady does have. Another option that actually my friend Seb came up with when he was looking at a few lists, Phantom of Chaos. Why? Once per turn, you can trigger an effect monster in your grave, banish that target, then until the end phase, this card's name and attack become that monster's name and attack, and against that monster's effects. Why would that be good? This is a level 12 fusion monster, Barbroid the Ultimate Battle Machine, which can be sent to the graveyard via Nekroz Kaleidoscope to summon both Unicorn and Valkyries at the same time. You have Battle Machine in the grave, and then use Phantom of Chaos to banish it. 4,000 attack. It can make a second attack during each battle phase. It unfortunately just can't attack directly, but if the opponent has multiple monsters, Phantom of Chaos can really push hard. Also, after damage calculation, if it attacked an opponent's monster, you negate that thing's effects. So if you take out, let's say, a Shadow Beast, but that doesn't actually work. Never mind. That's slip effects and effect destruction. Burning Abyss cards. Burning Abyss cards activate in the graveyard. Barbroid stops that, while Phantom of Chaos using the effects of Barbroid. Also, if this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, it mandatory inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent. This could be a very interesting tech in your Nekroz deck. I wasn't using it in my deck, but if you've used Kaleidoscope to send Barbroid to summon Unicorn and Valkyros, then you have Phantom of Chaos, you can use it and deal a lot of damage. Remember, can't attack directly, so unfortunately, if the opponent has one monster, it's not as useful, but still 4,000 stops stuff activating in the grave for any effect, really. 1,000 damage upon monster destruction, but do note the Phantom of Chaos, would you use Barbroid and Phantom of Chaos in Nekroz, it's kind of useless until you've summoned Nekroz and Unicorn and Valkyros together with Kaleidoscope, because otherwise Barbroid's never going to end up in the graveyard. So that's why you'd only have it at 1, because you really don't get a lot of more options. It's not in generally a lot of people's decks because, one, people may not know about the option, but otherwise because they feel it might be too situational. But it is an option, and I would like you to consider it and let me know if you've tried it out, what you think of it. Alright, that will have been my Nekroz deck. I'll see you later, I guess. See you tomorrow in the next video. Bye.